previous Q&As, you passed these puppets around the audience. I'm not going to let you do that today.
This is like a mosh pit now. But it's important to see them and for you to understand that one of the choices we made with these puppets is to not do substitution animation for the majority, which is normally, or one of the techniques in favor is to print all the faces with all the vowels, consonants, and expressions, and give them like a catalog to animators. And we chose mechanical puppets, so that the connection with the animator is very profound and intimate. Pinocchio is an exception, the cricket and the lower mouth of spazzatura. But it's good to have them because then you can do a little demonstration. And then you take one photo. You take another one. You do that 24 times, you get 1 second. And the movie is 2 hours.
Wow.
And then Guillermo says, reshoot that.
We should do take 2. We did. We actually did a few shots twice.
Well, Mark, you know, Guillermo Toro comes to you and says, I want to do Pinocchio. What excites you about the movie that he pitches to you? What makes you want to go on this journey?
I just think it was the unique take that he and Patrick, his co-writer, had on the story. They came at it with the notion of what is important about being disobedient as opposed to obedience. I mean, in the standard story, Pinocchio has to be a good boy and learn these lessons, and then he becomes a real boy. And they were saying, well, wait a minute. How do you learn to be yourself? How do you learn to be real? You learn by questioning. And that seemed like a really interesting idea to me, and a reason to tell this story again in a completely different way.
Yeah. Give me a sense of both your history with stop motion, because my understanding is it kind of started around the same time, albeit in different places.
Very different places, but when did you start?
I did a thesis film. I had never done any animation, and for my thesis in art school, I did a film called 3 Constipated Gargoyles Reaching Critical Mass at Ground Zero. So it was really sophisticated, and I think that's why Carol wanted to work with me. It was, no, I just borrowed a camera. I was at Wilvin Studios, or had done a little apprenticeship there, and I borrowed a camera from somebody and got some clay. It just seemed really exciting to be able to, you know, bring something to life. I didn't know at all what I was doing, so it was a real commitment. But yeah, the rest I just kept doing it.
And Guillermo, I mean, this is your first feature animated film as a director officially, but I mean. You know,
I had co-directed a couple of pilots and a couple of episodes of the series I created on DreamWorks, Tales of Arcadia, which was 3 series and a feature. And
take us all the way back.
And well, when I started with animation before live action in a way. I was teaching animation in high school at 17 to kids 15 and 14. I started a company that did for 10 years special effects and stop motion. And I was supposed to start with a stop motion movie before Kronos. Between my then girlfriend and my brother and I, we built over 100 puppets. With clay, I did the armatures, we did the sculpting, the design, we built a few sets, and we started the first day of photography. I was animating the puppet. We left for dinner, and we got burglarized. And the burglars, frustrated for not finding anything of value, crushed every single puppet and pooped and peed all over the floor, which was the signal to go to live action. I said, live action it is. And then after Pan's Labyrinth, or around Pan's Labyrinth, we started talking about Pinocchio around 2004. And we were already being happily rejected in 2008 by every major studio. Everybody passed, but it took about 15, 16 years to make the movie, to get it done. And I said, if I'm gonna do Pinocchio, I need to reacquaint myself with every tool possible. And I went to DreamWorks, and I produced or executive produced or consulted on Kung Fu Panda 2, 3, Puss in Boots, Megamind, Rise of the Guardians, etc., and the series we created, and then came full circle. And I wanted to work with Mark very, very much because he is a hero of mine. I absolutely am a fan of this man. And not only as an animator, his instincts as director are beautiful, and we are compatible, and we are both, you know, strangely agreeable to each other. I don't know why, but we do get along very well. And we got together the Magnificent Seven of animation everywhere. We got the best cinematographer with Frank Passingham, the best puppet maker with Georgina, with the best animators from all over the world. And I'll conclude with this. The equipment that I use for my company stayed alive in Mexico and kept stop motion alive in my city, Guadalajara. Everyone, including Oscar-nominated movies, shorts, used the equipment we had. And what we did as soon as we got Pinocchio greenlit is we created a workshop in Guadalajara, and we gave a section of the movie to be animated in my hometown. By those animators.
Was the plan always for this to be a musical adventure? Was music and song very, very much central for you from the beginning?
The story was always the same, but according to the screenplay, we did 2 full screenplay teams. The variances on that story were there, but we always thought about it as a musical. In the beginning, you know, we talked to Nick Cave, and Nick Cave came in, and I was very impressed. I was, oh my God, this rock star. And then it was pretty difficult to make an appointment with Nick Cave for further work. And then we went to Beck, and I met with Beck, and I was, oh my God, a rock star. And again, it was hard to get. So Alexander and I talked, and I said, you know who's available? Me. So we did the lyrics of the lullaby.
Yeah.
And Alexander said, oh, this is great, seamless, you should write everything. And about 2 months later, he said, you shouldn't write everything. And he called Cats, and let's take it from there. But it was always, the idea is, we were gonna have songs, and we were gonna go counter to a musical, and when the big song is coming with the cricket, the one that explains everything, he gets crushed every time. And at the same time, the second half, everybody stops singing and fascist music takes over, hymns and marches and songs.
Well, Alexander, you know, aside from your supreme availability, you also had this.
I have to go.
You also had this fabulous journey with Guillermo with Shape of Water, and just the most incredible score and the most incredible collaboration. What was special about that experience for you that you, you know, that you wanted to repeat, I suppose, with Pinocchio, and what was exciting about this new experience? You know, the fact that there are songs in this, the fact that the music is so integral to it. It seemed like very distinct experiences.
They're distinct, but in fact, to me, they're both live-action movies. It's strange. I feel the same emotion when I watch Pinocchio, when I watch The Shape of Water. And Guillermo's world is, some people say it's dark. It's not dark. It's just deep. There's just depth. There's soul. And Pinocchio, the film, is just full of soul and emotion. So that for a composer, there's so many options to explore, because it's not just a one-dimensional type of character or a one-dimensional story. There's so many layers and so many depths of field that you can visit, and this added to the way Guillermo structures his dramaturgy and the way his camera moves. It's flawless, and that's another thing that music is. You know, music is horizontal. It goes from A to Z, and you just put your hand on the film and it takes you down the river very easily. You just have to work, but it's not painful. It's very comfortable. And Guillermo has a passion for music in general, for music in his films, for music in cinema. It's the best world I can imagine.
Dancing cumbia. No, but Alexander has a thing that I think the highest form of art is that which evokes a beauty that is so powerful and otherworldly that you feel the transcendence and the loss of something that never was at the same time. So it can only exist in art. And that's the type of beauty we wanted to do with the images, with the emotions, and with the music. And I don't think there is any other composer that does that. Not now.
Well, and Alexandra, you know, you set yourself a very particular challenge here because you know, you're telling the story of a wooden boy and you made a very particular call. Tell me about that call and how it affected the process.
The wood.
The
Yeah, the wood. Sorry. Yeah, believe it or not, Pinocchio is made of wood. And that was, I know it's shocking, but it's the first, you know, obvious thing. He's made of wood, and so maybe, and Geppetto is a woodworker, so maybe there was something there to explore. In Shape of Water, we explored the watery sounds, the whistle, and the 12 flutes, you know, to create a sound that belonged to the Shape of Water. And in this one, I just challenged Guillermo and myself in trying to use only wood instruments. So it's woodwinds, strings, of course, piano, harp, guitars, mandolin, and marimba, yeah. And it creates, I'm sure it's not conscious, I hope it's not conscious for the audience to pay attention to it, but it creates a sound that I think stays with you in a different way than if it was just a traditional orchestra.
Well, no, we're not showing a clip today, but I do want to ask about the animation style on the film. You know, it feels incredibly unique. It feels incredibly individual. How important was it for you? Give us a little sense of the philosophy behind that, Mark, Guillermo, and why it was important to do it in the way that you've done it.
Well, we really wanted to give agency over the performances back to the animators as much as possible. We wanted them to take pride in these shots and own the shots. I was an animator for many years, and I know that feeling. There's nothing quite like it. And you should have animated on the film. But it's not that easy. You know, so we went out and we got everybody that I really had always wanted to work with and people that I'd worked with in the past, the best of the best animators. And you know, the kind of instructions we would give them. We would say, we have to hit this mark, this is what the character is thinking about, and we want to see in the animation, we want to see the character thinking. We don't want it to move, we want it to be alive, and there's a big difference. And then we also said, look, if you, during the course of this, because it's just you, and this is something that's unique to stop motion, I think, it comes down to an animator with the puppet in a very intimate relationship. And so you are performing this thing, and if you discover something along the way that you think can make this better, then go ahead. And we wanted them to feel free to do that. And of course, you know, you're gonna fail occasionally, and we said that's okay, you know, because it's worth the investment for us to get to another place with these performances.
I think we believe a few things in this film. How many of you have seen it? God damn it! Everybody else gets no popcorn today. We believe several things. We believe that animation is not a goddamn genre for kids. It's a medium that is perfect for art and spirituality and value. We believe that we should be bold, we should be crazy, we should try things that have never been done, push the art. We also believe that animators are actors. They're cast and should be credited right up front next to the cast, and we did that. And we believe that between action and cut, they are in command. Now, for those of you that don't know how it's done, you have an exposure sheet and you're gonna map obviously the lip sync and every move that you're gonna do. And then you have almost a regimented 24 frames a second critical route, but our animators were so good that they found things also, and we dictated certain things which if and when you see the movie again or for the first time, you will notice. I have a personal crusade, and I abhor pantomime. I abhor that every goddamn animated movie has the same poses. If I see another character do that, or raise an eyebrow and cross the hands, or have this sort of hip and happening valley emoticon, goddamn language that simulates humanity, I will puke. So we said, number one, let's give them micro gestures and almost neuro-linguistic programming, inputting like move the eyes around, look away. Is the character in pain? Give me moments where they rub their knuckles or their knees if it hurts. When they're tired, they should sit tired. When they're active and younger, they can move like that. Pinocchio starts the film like an unarticulated toddler almost. And little by little learns to control the body and evolves. But, very important, and this is something beautiful, we created failed acts at 24 frames a second, meaning in animation there are two things I don't like. It's too animated, meaning everybody moves like in a sitcom. Everybody's frantic and demonstrating what they feel. And we said, let's do quiet moments in which we trust the actors and the audience leans in, and then there's a swallow, a breath, a pause, and they're looking at that character. But the second is, let's make mistakes, quote unquote. Pinocchio goes to grab a pencil, and there's one pencil, there's no nub, another one, and the third one. So we did 50 frames we didn't need, but that tells you there's life. There's a beautiful moment in which Geppetto goes into an empty amphitheater and tangles with a floating balloon. And if it was a live actor, it would be improv. But it can't, because we have to rig the balloon with a little crane. Rig Geppetto with a crane so he can fight it and put it on the exposure sheet. So we're doing an accident at 24 frames a second and shooting quiet moments and giving the actors moments to talk quietly. The way we talk in real life, animation tends to make everything too efficient. And we didn't want that. If a cup is facing the wrong way, you turn the cup and then you grab it. And that gives you life. So we were pursuing life and truth, because I think we are in a moment in which any medium you use to tell a story, the only thing you need to guarantee is that there's truth in it. Yeah. Because it's the scarcest value in art today. Yeah. Truth and emotion. Because emotion is the antidote to irony. And irony is a defense, and emotion exposes you to danger, but is the only thing worth pursuing.
Absolutely. You know, Guillermo, I could listen to you for the rest of the day. This belongs to me now, though. Ladies and gentlemen, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is in theaters now. And
oh, God damn it, go! What the hell happened here? Raise your hands. Next time I see you, you'll go. And we'll talk. Thank you, guys.
Please join me in thanking Guillermo.